Thanks for joining us today on the Nurturist Pod, where we help nurture your path and unleash your passions. We got a special guest this week. We got the Max London. How we doing, man?
Wow, that sounds amazing. What an intro, dude. I'm doing great. No complaints on my side of things. We're just living the dream and building one day at a time, man. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. No, we're just happy to have you on the pod. When I jumped on Money Twitter a while back, like you were one of the first people that I got in touch with, man. And it's been a
That's
fun
sick.
journey so far. It's been super cool. So I appreciate you hopping on. But yeah, man,
100%, dude.
how are things going with Contact Bird, with everything?
Dude, it's wild. It's been one of those journeys for people that do not know. I have a software company and a SaaS that's called Contact Bird, and basically it just automates all of your outreach when it comes to Twitter. And Zach, I want to point something out before I even jump into that too. The fact that you
Yeah.
said that you jumped on and followed me right off the bat, or maybe one of the first people that you've spoken to, is just wild, because when I jumped onto Money Twitter and was looking at all these people, could learn so much from all these people. I just want to like somehow get to know any of these people. And then now like a majority of them are my friends today, or use our SaaS, or I learn from them, or I can at least talk to them in some form or fashion. So it's crazy how full circle these things can really get, but it's super flattering to hear that. Just I didn't want to take that lightly
No, you're
off
good,
the
man.
bat, but yeah, everything's really good, dude, on our side. So we launched November 5th, like our actual live launch was November 5th. So we're about 3 months and 5 days into everything, and active users now, as of last night, I haven't checked today, is 713. So it's
Damn, you guys are up to that many.
way past. Dude, it's way past than we ever expected. We wanted dude, I look at it and I have so much like imposter syndrome when I think like, sometimes I'll just open the app and be like, how the hell is this art? Did we do this? I don't even understand how we did this. And I didn't build it, obviously. Like my business partner, he's full stack dev, like he's the building. I just come up with the ideas, the marketing, sales, creative consultant on top of it. But I'll just take a step back and be like, dude, how the hell did we do this? My business partner's 19. He built it when he was 18 years old. I'm like, it doesn't even make sense to us to this day, but I'm not going to sit here and act like we knew that was going to happen, because our 6-month goal, the day of launch, we wanted to hit 100 users in 6 months was our goal. So we are like way past that, and it's amazing, but it's crazy how quickly when you hit something, you just want more, and like you have a new baseline, and then you just keep building and building, because like you think, oh wow, you can chill after that. But now it's okay, we can do that in 3 months, then we want 4,000 users by the end of the year. You
Right.
basically just keep pushing yourself, and this will definitely not be the last SaaS that we build. I think we're already coming up with a couple new ideas. Once you build the major foundation and like you have like the main offer of the SaaS done, you have some minor tweaks here and there, new features that kind of roll out from this time to that time. But like at the end of the day, man, like once you have that built, you can put 1 or 2 devs on it to man the ships, and then build something cool somewhere else, because,
For sure.
we definitely don't want to be satisfied with just one SaaS. I think this is my first SaaS ever. I've been in the agency world now since 2017, but just seeing how that ecosystem works compared to the agency world is crazy. Short
Right.
answer to your question is we're cruising, man. We're absolutely cruising
Dude.
right now.
That's amazing. So I guess that leads me to my next question. What's the new goal? What are you guys pushing for?
Yeah, dude. So we're in 2 boats right now. One is get to 2,000 to 4,000 users by the end of the year. I like to say 4,000 because then we'll get 2,000 if we fall short, and then I'll be
For sure.
still super happy. It's either one, we scale something up where the MRRs we're taking care of for a very long time. We're only splitting it 2 ways between me and my partner. I like capitalism, don't get me wrong, but after 2,000 to 4,000 users, yeah, we're definitely going to be cooling. So either really run up the MRR to something that's like insane and then really start pushing another SaaS, or look to exit in 12 months of time, I think is what our goal is, because we love Twitter outreach. We think it's really cool. But if someone has a good number, we will absolutely let the SaaS go. We've gotten a couple different like private equity, like smaller SaaS companies reach out to us with LOIs. And then also we had a minority stake offer already too. But dude, it was only like 2 months and 10 days since we like really launched on stuff. So it's like, why would we let it go? I'm not going to let the baby go that soon. You know what I mean? I want to see what we can do before we let that thing.
100%. No, bro, that is insane. I didn't realize that you guys had just launched in November. 'Cause that's when I
Yes.
hopped on Twitter again. Cause like, I'd had my account and everything from, like, back in high school, and then
Yes.
I was working on a little project, got back on, got more involved, and yeah, I guess it makes
Yeah.
sense because that's when you started blasting stuff off, and, like, you're one of the first people I followed, so that makes a lot more sense now. That's crazy how fast you guys have grown. I had no idea,
Dude,
man.
it's wild.
That's
It's
insane. Good for you guys.
it's wild, dude. And also something that you mentioned, I was in the same boat as you too, because like I had my Twitter account, I think it was like back in 2014, 2015,
Yep.
something like that, where I would just mess with friends. Like I
Yep.
would just like sit, watch memes on there, send
Yeah.
stuff to my friends and stuff. I never thought I could make money on Twitter. Didn't even think that was a thing.
Yeah.
And I like to build on all other social media platforms. I owned a social media marketing company for
Oh, hell yeah.
like literally growing brands and making bands, but growing brands on like Twitter. Oh, sorry, no, not Twitter, TikTok and Instagram. So I had the idea of growing an audience on other with videos and media and that type of thing. But I never thought Twitter was anything. Like I was like,
Yeah.
no, there's no way I can make money on Twitter. And that's just my ignorant mind telling me that. And I
Mhm.
had off all platforms and everything, 340,000 followers, like roughly on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, like all of them combined. So I was like,
Yeah.
no, I know how to do this. I had that my blinders on to what I knew really well.
Mhm.
Dude, in the 3 months we've launched and also just like the connections that I've made on Twitter, it's been not even close to the caliber of people that you find on Twitter compared to even Instagram, TikTok. YouTube's a little different because I think you can actually get some really high caliber people from YouTube.
Yeah.
But like TikTok and Instagram, it's just like it's just a shoot where you just throw some videos up and people are on there like squirrels going from one video
Yeah.
to the next.
Yeah.
They're not like really taking in what you're putting in. It's one of those things that it's funny that you had the same type of realization where, like, yeah, I don't really care about Twitter that much. And then you jump back on and you're like, holy crap, there's actually some really good knowledge. And there's people here making actually like millions of dollars here. I should
Right.
probably listen to them. And I've learned
Oh, no.
so much from those people.
Same, dude. No, it's been shocking just the amount of connections, like you said, and the caliber of people that you find on Twitter, bro. Like, it's it's absurd. I didn't think it was a possibility. Like, you're meeting people from all over the globe. It's insane. It's so cool. It's like you would never have that. You would never have that opportunity anywhere else. I don't feel. And no, it's
I
been
completely
super
agree.
cool. So with that, dude. So you created the Saas in November. You guys launched. When did you hop back on Twitter then? And where did the idea of Contact Bird come from?
Good
A
question.
lot of
So
questions, I
I'll
know.
take a step. No, you're good. I'll take a step back and kind of walk through it chronologically so people can follow along.
For sure.
So I started a social media marketing agency only focused on like creative, like I was doing like the social media marketing, like the management side of things, posting a bunch of stuff, as well as like coming up with the content. So I've been doing that since 2017, like grew like my own brand and then e-com on the side. Pretty much like everyone I think in the space has at least tried drop shipping or have been in e-com or something like that. So
Right.
I played in that realm for a while. What the problem was for me is I couldn't scale past, I kept getting like hitting a ceiling from to $22,000 MRR is when I was hitting a ceiling of like, all right, I can't scale past this unless like I'm literally going to break. And the problem with that was I had the solopreneur like mindset that I can only do this. Like no one else can do this except for me, which is such like a stupid thing to go and look back on. But if I'm not touching it, it's not working, which is again, just such a stupid mindset to have. But I had that mindset and I was like, all right, if I were to take on another client right now, I would literally break. I also had, I know we talked about this a little bit, but I had, I guess 3 or 4 years ago, I had a sales job for a fintech SaaS. So I saw what that looked like. And then as soon as my social media marketing agency took off, I jumped ship, quit that job, doubled down on the social media marketing agency. And again, I was doing that. And then I was also flipping properties in real estate. So I was doing both of those things hand in hand, but I could not put one more brick on the social media marketing agency. It was going to break 110% or I was going to just lose my mind. My biggest thing that I basically came to was I can't scale this because there's too much variety and variability per account that I'm touching. Every single account, there's zero SOPs. There's no correlation between one client that I had to another client. It was like reinventing the wheel every single time I was getting on a new client. That right there is great because I could take on anyone. But the problem with that is I couldn't scale because I didn't have a copy paste or even like a blueprint to look at to be like, all right, like how can I even scale this past this? So that was where I hit a wall. And this ties in perfectly with your question of, so why money Twitter? So I was listening to a podcast by Michael Gardner, who's someone that I really looked up to start, and I've had the honor to like actually talk to him. He helped us a lot in the beginning with like Contact Bird in terms of like ideation and stuff like that. But he basically was saying he was running a B2B legion agency, and I was like, that's interesting. So it's basically like you're an SDR or a BDR sales lead for a company. Instead, you do it for 20 companies or something like that. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. And he said he was doing it all through cold email. And then the person asked him, like, how are you getting all your leads right now? And he's, dude, a majority of them are coming from YouTube and Twitter. And I was like, what? I was like, did he just say Twitter? I was like, there's no way he's getting leads from Twitter. I don't understand that like at all. So I was like, all right, I'm going to look into this. So I went back on my Twitter. I had to like reset my password. I completely even forgot what my Twitter account was because I haven't used it in so long. So brushed those cobwebs off, got back into kind of the game, saw who he was following, and I was like, okay, there's actually some really smart people on Twitter. And then I just fell into kind of the Twitter side of things where it's like you see the small people who are just landing the first clients to the people that are making $1 million a month. There's rarely a lot of people that are making $1 million a month, but they have them there on Twitter. So seeing that realm and that spectrum, yeah, they're there. So it's really just immersing myself into that ecosystem. So then I switched over from the creative marketing agency all into the B2B Legion agency. And that's when I was really pushing that super hard on Twitter, going cold email, YouTube, all of that kind of going all at once. I went from very high variability, a lot of differences between my clients to everyone's copy and paste. I needed to know their offer. I needed to know how their systems and the people that they were targeting looked like. And then I was ready to go. So I found kind of something that I could scale, was able to scale that much faster, much easier to maneuver, but you have a lot more competition since it is a little bit more copy paste. So it really comes down to how good your copy is really what it came down to. So I was already playing in that B2B realm, and of all places of how Contact Bird even came to be, my business partner now, his name's Steven, he actually DM'd me like a cold DM, which is full circle because we obviously one of the most 90% of Contact Bird is a cold DM. So he reached out to me. He was like, "Hey, saw you were in the marketing space." He actually exited like a very small Saas at the time. Nothing to like retire and ride around on yachts all day, but he basically lost his baby. But I'm a full stack dev. I'm looking to jump into the game. I'm building something right now, but could you help me either connect me to other people that are good marketers, basically connect the dots for him? And I was like, wait, there's actually a really good opportunity here because this he's young. He knows how to code. He's got a really good eye for things. I think there's an opportunity here. So me and him jumped on a call, and I remember the day that he DM'd me, he was like, you want to jump on a meeting? I was like, dude, I know people are listening to this that are in the money Twitter space. If you get like a huge DM that looks like a Harry Potter novel that's super spammy-esque looking, and I still shit on him for this day on how bad his cold DM looked, but I was like looking at it, I was like, dude, like I remember looking at my girlfriend, I'm like, should I jump on this meeting? Like this guy, I feel like the way that he even said this message looks like he's trying to steal your credit card or something like that of how bad his message looks. Like this guy looks like he's just a scammer and he's blowing smoke. And then I jumped on a call with him and was like, holy crap, this guy's a genius. I was like, this guy's literally an evil genius from the Netherlands. And there's so much to be found here. And I remember hanging up off that call and I looked at my girlfriend. I think I just hit a gold mine. I was like, this is crazy. This kid is so smart. And I think there's definitely something to be found here. And fast forward after us taking multiple meetings, we both just started building up Contact Bird to the best of our abilities. And then we launched back in November. Is absolutely the app then compared to now is like light years better, and it's only going to keep improving. It's crazy though how everything just came full circle. So that was the evolution of messing around doing social media marketing agency into B2B Legion. And then I already was in that space. I knew how many meetings I was booking from Twitter alone. So I knew the product market fit was already there when it came to Contact Bird. So then when we had the idea and we were running with it, I was like, I already knew it was going to work because I personally was getting meetings manually or with a virtual assistant, booking meetings on Twitter. So pretty crazy how all things came together. But now Contact Bird I only have basically 1.5 agency clients left. And that's just because I've had them on for so long that it's just like, all right, I'll keep them. The automation's already very simple, but 95% of my focus right now is only on Contact Bird right now. So hopefully that evolution made sense. I know I flew through that, but hopefully that resonated.
No, for sure, dude. It's crazy how one thing can lead to another. I think that's the funnest part about life is just you never know what's ahead of you. Even if you plan ahead, you're like, okay, cool. I'm going to do X, Y, Z. Boom, dude. It's like almost 99% of the time, that's not what's going to happen, right? And so it's like, you just got
So
to cut
true.
the punches. You just got to take opportunities
Yes.
when they're given to you. And I just think it's super cool, dude. Like this homie who's looking like a scammer hits you up. You end up taking the call, find a gold mine and make something happen like that. Like the fact that in
It's
4
crazy.
months, you guys have 750 people using Contact Bird just blows my mind. And now you have a
Dude,
competitor, right?
yes. So
I saw that the
we
other
knew
day.
it's crazy. We knew that was going to happen at some point in time. And the idea of outreach in general is not revolutionary. We're not coining
Mm-mm.
that by any sense of we've come up with cool, like, no, we're not even close to that. If anything, we just found a niche way to reach people in a kind of an untapped market. And
Yeah,
we knew from the start, in any time that you're doing something that is successful, people are going to look at that and say, I want to do that too, because it looks like you're making money there. For example,
yeah,
drop shipping. Like as soon as a product is doing really well, everyone and their mother's jumping on drop shipping that one product because they see it's working, right? So
for sure.
yeah, we have a couple of competitors now in the market. I think probably for every month that comes, we'll see probably 2 or 3 competitors that pop up. I
Yeah,
want to be like very clear. I actually think competition is a positive thing off the bat. One, it pushed us much, much harder to look at what other people are doing, what they're doing well, what they're not doing well, and saying, okay, cool. We need to make sure we're doing everything that they're doing well, just as well, if not better than them. So I think at the end of the day, competition is actually a good thing, not only for our business, but more importantly for the user, because if
yeah,
they have something that we don't have, we better implement it or we'll fall behind. And at the end of the day, the user's only going to get a better experience because we're including not only our own features, but other people that are coming up with other features, stacking them all into one place, and then making sure that the user has the best experience with it. So
I
I
love it.
actually think competition at the end of the day is a positive thing. And it is what it is. The name word, the name that one company picked was very close to ours. So I was like,
Pretty
all
similar
right, I don't care how good their app is. Like, at least come up with something a little different than that. But it is what it is.
for
I'm
sure.
not butthurt or anything by it now. When I first saw, I was like, they're kidding, right? And I was like, oh wait, no, they're actually serious.
Yeah,
And actually, funny enough, the one of the co-founders of that company was on ContactBird for 3 months. So I'm sure
oh,
like they got a lot of good market data on ContactBird and then implemented it there. But at the end of the day, it's all good for us. So we can't sit and say, oh, we got a monopoly. Let's just sit on our laurels and be on our heels. It's like, all right, now we have a little bit of a fire under our ass. And then we also want to make sure that we're pushing to make sure we have the best product for the user too. The last thing on that too, I've seen how powerful just a sense of a community around a software, like how
mm,
powerful that is if you've done it right. So one of the things that I did on purpose and also more on accident, I didn't think this out methodically, but in the beginning of Contact Bird, I was like, I know if I just sit there and take meetings with people and talk to them on a call, show them how the software works, how to use the software as effectively as possible. One, they're going to have a better time because they're actually going to see results using the software. And two,
for
I
sure.
actually spoken with them face to face. So if someone's ever had a problem, they know that Max is on the other side or owns the SaaS or whatever. And we've spoken in the past. So I
Yeah,
knew just by brute force, I could close people just because I'm selling a product and I know that works. And two, I knew if I spoke to them and showed them how it works, they'll have a much better understanding of, okay, I know how to use the tool. Now I want to get the tool. So
yeah,
I knew if I was doing that, I would be able to close people. I didn't realize how powerful it would be in actually like a community sense. So having that support around whether we're dropping new features or if I'm just posting anything, like things that are working well for me, seeing the community being like, that's a good idea. I'm going to send this to this person, or I'm going to share this with another agency that we work closely with. That was super eye opening to me. And then obviously when the competition came out too, everyone in the Contact Bird family was like sending me the competition. I'm like, dang, like I didn't think like people would have my
that's
back like this,
crazy.
but I love
Yeah,
everyone for having my back. Like that really, I think stemmed from jumping on meetings and actually taking the time to talk to probably have had 260 meetings. I was adding them up in the past 3 months. So I haven't talked
bro.
to everyone that's on Contact Bird, but I've talked to a majority of people that have a good idea, a good sense of a lot of the people on Contact Bird. So I
For
think
sure.
that's a lot of, I don't think a lot of people will do that, especially for a low ticket SaaS, because again, I come from the agency space where like towards the end of my agency, I was charging like a $4, $5, $6,000 setup fee. So when I were to jump on a call, like I'm trying to make like 5 or 6 grand on that call. I'm really pushing for it. Now I'm selling a $49 a month SaaS minimum.
Yeah.
And now we actually, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if I'm closing someone on $49, it doesn't sound that much. That was something that I had to swallow really early on, but it is a reoccurring factor where, as
Oh,
soon as we get one
100%.
person on, obviously not everyone's going to stay. We don't expect everyone to stay. People are going to churn for an ungodly amount of reasons. But if I can hold people, if I'm doing 6 or 7 meetings a day and I'm closing the majority of those people and they stay on for month after month, it slowly just starts to snowball over time. Also, that's the play, but then also the equity side of things on SaaS is something that I never really even knew until I really jumped into it, because you're playing at minimum 3x multiple to 10 plus x multiple. So it's pretty crazy how that $49 can actually turn into a lot more than just $49. But a lot of people don't want to put in the time to, oh, it's only $49. I'm not going to sit there and waste an hour of my time. It's yes and no. Now I have like salespeople that can actually help me out, that are doing the appointment setting, doing the inbox managing. Like I've leveraged out my time to a certain extent now. But if you really wanted to build a strong community around a SaaS, it's really getting down in the weeds and like just manning the cannons for as long as you possibly can, because then you'll know that you can build a strong community. And two, our best features have come from our users. So if someone was like, dude, it would be awesome if we could do X, Y, or Z, I'm like, that's insanely genius. I cannot believe we haven't thought of that. Then we implement it. So it's like, you can not only have the connection, like you actually care about your users just by talking to them on the front end, but when they're actually on the software and they're using the software, they'll have corrections and suggestions. And I'm like, this is great. That was another long-ended answer of what happens now that competition's in there. But I really wanted to stress that the form of community, as well as really just putting the time as an owner into your product. Competition is bound to come. So if you sit there and be on the defense all the time, oh, if competition comes up, we're fucked. So no, if you really take the time and build something solid and something that's like worth talking about and building a community around, it's okay if the competition comes, because they'll have their own community somewhere else, but there's enough to go around at the end of the day. I think that's a lot of ideas that go into that question of what do we think about the competition coming out?
No, for sure, dude. I love that. And I think a lot of people, a lot of times, they're going to get caught up in the fact that there is someone, right? But that's not the case. There's so much opportunity, even with, let's say, 5 different SaaS platforms that are doing the exact same thing that you're doing. Or if you're drop shipping or building an e-commerce store, like there's so much room in the market. And so you shouldn't stress about that. Honestly, you should be excited. Like you said, like it's cool that you found this product, and obviously you guys, I'm pretty sure you're the first one. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Was there anyone else doing it before you? Okay.
There's a company called Phantom Buster, and it's like an all-in-one. It's like Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. It's all like a mile wide and like a couple pennies deep. We saw that it had some of the functionality that we liked, but it's decentralized. So we're like, we want to go a penny wide and a mile deep only on Twitter. So that was for inspiration. Like I won't say that we were the 100% first to market and be like, yeah, we've revolutionized the outreach on Twitter. No, like we've seen Phantom Buster doing everything, but we wanted to really just hone in on one thing. I think what we have done is just like Instantly, this is what we're trying to do. Like Instantly is email platform for those that don't know, but they basically make cold email cool, in my opinion. Like they made it cool to be a cold email wizard, to be a cold email marketer, B2B lead gen agency. They made it cool. And we're trying to build the community around to say, not only is it like awesome that you can connect with people on Twitter and low friction, like not so pitchy, salesy, here's my offer type of approach, more of a laid back where you're just shooting the shit with someone in the DMs and then closing and making $20, $40, $50,000 a year from one deal that might be closed. Yeah, that's our first inkling of it. But then to really just make it our own, I think just taking inspiration from one and making it in your own voice is the most important thing. And I also want to touch on one thing too, like you said, like even if you have competition with an agency, it's completely fine if there's other competition out there. If anything, you can see what works and what doesn't work, and then you can take your own approach, because no one can be you. There's no 2 Zachs in this world. There's no 2 Maxes in this world that are perfectly identical. So having like your own personal spin on things and your own personal touch is the best way to dominate in a market. Like actually double downing on how human you are and how you are. Like that is what's actually going to help you close more people, not having such a bulletproof offer, because at the end of the day, yes, you could have a really good offer and the other person can have another super solid offer, but they might go with them just because they know them, they connect with them, and their personalities align better. But dude, at the end of the day, especially like as an agency, if you close 5 clients at $2,000 retainers, like you're making 10 grand, it's 120 grand a year. That's 5 human beings
Absolutely.
that you have
Yeah.
to connect with, show them that your service works. 5. Like you can count that on your hand. We're not talking about even like our staffs, like 710 people is a lot of human beings that we are responsible for. As an agency, 5 people to really be making 6 figures plus. That's a lower retainer, about $2,000 a month. You might be able to do performance where you're making 5, 6, 7, $8,000 a month on a performance deal. So people get super scared where like that market is saturated. That's too much competition over there. Yeah, there might be a lot of competition, and yes, it might be overpopulated and saturated to a sense, but there's no two yous. So if you
Yeah.
come in there and you're so brutally you, and you come in with your own kind of offer, your own framing, your own kind of personality, that's how you can dominate in an arena. And again, you don't need 5,000 people to be on your agency clients. You just need 5 to 10 and you're really cruising. So definitely want to
Exactly.
highlight that too, because I'm sure a lot of people that are listening to this will probably fall more in the agency side than necessarily like the SaaS side. I think agencies are more popular, but yeah, definitely want to touch on that for the agency boys as well.
No, I love that, dude. That's great. And so I guess I know we don't have too much time left, but I did have a couple more questions for you. Let's take it
100%.
back to young Max. You're growing up, going through high school. Like, what was your dream? What did you want to do coming out of high school? What did you think would be your career path?
That's a great question. I always try to think like, how did I come to realize these certain things?
Yeah.
Because like I just look back at myself and like, how the hell did a 14, 15-year-old Max think building a business was cool? And I
Yeah.
actually attribute that to 2 things. One, and truth be told, like, I'm so sore on this. I don't know if you ever played the game RuneScape at all. Did you ever play it back in the
I
day?
don't think I did. No. No.
Dude, RuneScape is, oh my gosh. If there's people that listen to this that know what RuneScape is, they know exactly what I'm talking about, but there's
I'm gonna have to
basically
look
like
this.
a full, dude, it's so lit. Old school RuneScape is so cool, but there's like a full blown ecosystem of an economy at a grand exchange there. And I understood kind of the mechanisms of supply and demand, rarity, scarcity, all these different things. So I understood how to flip things in a game. So I always was like flipping stuff on the side in real life, whether it was basketball shoes or anything like that.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I knew like the one thing that I 100% knew, I was like, I just want to be my own boss. That's the only thing that I knew for certain at the age of 14. I was like, I just don't want to like have to be told what to do, like when. So like I wanted
Yeah.
to be able to work on the things that I thought was cool. And I wanted to be able to build the things that I thought were really cool and not have to basically sit there and do just because someone else is telling me to do it and they're just dangling money in front of my face. That was like the one realization that I had. And I think it was a combination, like I said, of RuneScape as well as YouTubers, like watching these gamer YouTubers like White Boy 7 Street and some of these like Phase Optic guys. Like I was
Yeah.
all into that space. Like these people are pulling in hundreds of thousands of dollars a year for playing a video game. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, if these people can do it playing a video game, I can do it doing something else. And I like video games, but I knew I wasn't going to be like a professional gamer or anything like insane at the end of the day. But I think those 2 things where I got to see how to make money in a fake market that is very similar actually to like real markets, seeing that and being able to play that at such a young age, and then seeing people really use the leverage of media and seeing like YouTube and being able to like put ads and use AdSense and make like hundreds of $1,000s a year. I put those 2 and 2 together and I was like, I just want to be my own boss. And even still to this day, Zach, I will not even lie. I just do things that I think are interesting. So if I think the SaaS is really interesting and it's really cool and like, I think SaaS and software in general is like the highest leveraged business that's possible. I'm going to jump on that because it's like, that is going to be something that I might not see the fruits of my labor today, but in a couple months' time, I will be able to see this. I think every single day I don't know what I want to do when I quote unquote grow up. I just like to do the things that I think are the best plays for me right now with my given knowledge, cap, and vessel that I can pick at the right moment. So right now I'm like, SaaS is awesome because it's super high leverage. I get to learn the software side of things and then also just like maybe have a really big exit at the end would be really cool. But after that, dude, I'll probably still play in the SaaS world, but yeah, it's not like one specific thing. I just want to do a thing that excites me and that works is really what I want at the end of the day. So that I
Love that.
knew at that age of 14 through 16 that I wanted to be my own boss. That's about the only thing that I knew for certain.
Yeah. No, that's crazy, dude. I know I mentioned this earlier in the pod as well, but it's, dude, you can only plan so much. And I think at least me as a senior in high school, dude, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to go do X, Y, Z, going to go to college. But like, it doesn't play out like you imagine that it would, right? Like it's all part of the
Yeah.
journey. And I think the most important part, at least for me, I'm sure for you as well, is just like being able to enjoy the journey that you're taking, right? Doing things that interest you, things that you're passionate about. And so that's the biggest thing that I'm trying to accomplish with this podcast is getting people to
Yes.
realize that
Yes.
everyone has a different path. Everyone, you need to go out there,
Yes.
you need to try out different things, find out what you're passionate about, find out what works for you and run with it. And no, dude, I appreciate you sharing
Beautiful.
that with me. I think it's super cool what you're doing.
100%.
And I'm just excited. I'm excited to see where Contact Bird goes. And yeah, man, I appreciate you hopping on.
100%, Zach. I want to leave on the note that you're hitting on, which is so freaking crucial. Even people that I know that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, all made up. Like the businesses, the ideas and things like that, it's all made up in a sense where they didn't just come out the womb knowing, okay, I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be making $340,000 a month from Google ads. It's like you slowly do kind of these things and you try multiple different things. And the thing that you keep hitting on is you can only plan so much. Like
Yeah,
we thought we knew what we were doing with my agency. And even when we're launching Contact Bird, you think every route, nook and cranny possible. You just don't. At the end of the day, you just don't. The only thing that you can do is actually take action. So I always think the imperfect action always beats that perfect inaction where you're like, you get that analysis paralysis where you're like, oh, I can't do this until X, Y, or Z. No, just do the thing and then see how that goes and then turn around and go, was that a good or a bad thing? And if it's
yep,
like you messed up, okay, cool. You don't sit there and hang your head low because, you messed up. You're supposed to mess up. You're supposed to fail on these certain things because you kind
absolutely.
of see what works and what doesn't work. And then you just double down on the things that work. But again, even these people that are making tons of money, like they started off in the same shoes that people might be listening to where it's like no side hustle at all. And now they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars because they tried one thing, they tried the next thing, they tried the next thing, and they failed a ton of times, but they never gave up. And then cool, like you just made up in with your mind and imagination, you came up with a brand, you came up with a service, you came up with, how you're going to structure these offers, how you're going to structure these deals. You don't go to class or something like that and someone say, here's how you structure a good Google ad offer. It's like, no, you come to that by trial and error and making up different hypotheses and testing a bunch of shit. So I think people look at these people who are making a couple $1,000,000 a year and being like, that's impossible. I can never do that because I don't know how to get there. Those same people didn't know how to get there at some point in time. So it's really just, you're hitting it. So I'm probably not even getting as well, I'm not even getting
No.
near how well spoken you're hitting this, but the fact of the matter is if you just try, like at the end of the day, if you just try, and as long as it's something that you think will be beneficial, whether it's learning how to code, whether it's copywriting, whether it's jumping in front of a video, or what you're doing, Zach, like jumping on a podcast, like you don't know what this podcast is going to look like in 10 years, right? Like you have no idea. It might be absolutely bigger than Joe Rogan. It might not be existent at all. But the one thing that you can't control is today we're jumping on a podcast with Max. So it's like
Exactly.
those every single day, putting those building blocks down. Yes, you're going to fail. Make that inevitable. Accept the fact that you're going to fail and look like an absolute like idiot at times. It's completely fine. Taking the precautions and the steps to just keep moving forward, swallowing your pride, and just really double downing on the things that work. That is how you
Absolutely.
get from point A to point B. And that's not just in business. That's not just in business. That's learning a new skill. That's going out, picking up a golf club and trying to learn how to play some golf, or going out and asking out that person that you always wanted to ask out. I think
Yeah,
all of these things are very similar, but all of them have the thing in common where it's like you just got to try every single day and you're going to fail a lot, but it's going to take time until you hit the place that you really want to get to. So cannot stress that enough.
absolutely, man. No, I love everything that you had to say. I just appreciate you hopping on with me today. And yeah, man, I think we're going to wrap it up. So appreciate you, Max, and we'll keep in touch for
Absolutely,
sure.
brother.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye, guys.
Thanks again for joining us today on the Nurturist Pod. Hopefully, you found some of this content insightful. If you did, make sure to follow, subscribe, and send it to one of your friends. We're also going to be posting this on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's Spotify or Apple. We got you covered. And we're going to be building out our community in Discord. So make sure to join us there as well. Until next time, thanks.